If your subwoofer system is unable to produce the amount of bass you want when playing certain songs, you'll want to stick around for this video. We'll be taking a look at what a bass restoration processor does, how it does it, and when it works best in this episode of Is It Worth It? Hey, what's up? This is Josh. I'm with Breakers Stereo and Performance. Welcome to the channel that reviews, goes over, and demos all the best in car audio, suspension, performance, and more. Because we don't drop stock. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Okay, so a bass restoration processor does two things. Yes, of course, it restores bass back into music where bass has been mixed and or filtered out. So when music is being mixed down, some frequencies in the lower octaves can be overpowering in the song. So producers and sound engineers will lower those frequencies on the EQ or filter them out to make a more balanced song. Okay, so how do these processors do that? The circuit inside these bass restoration processors are designed to reproduce low frequency information by looking at the upper frequency ranges and detecting musical harmonics. Now these harmonics then allow the bass processor to drop an octave and reproduce the missing or mixed out notes. Also hang out with us because we're going to be testing one of these later on in the video with a real-time analyzer so you can see one of these in action. So as you can see, you have a studio roll-off here directly affecting the lower frequencies between the fundamental and the first harmonic range, which so happens to be some of the frequencies we like, mainly between 35 and 45 hertz. So when those frequencies are missing, the bass restoration processor will drop in an octave to produce those lower frequencies that we like. So that's the first thing it does, restore bass that is mixed out. Now, most modern music tends to be very bass heavy in those frequencies already. So typically there's not a huge need for this technology for that type of music. So this leads me into the second thing that it does. It will actually produce or put bass frequencies into music that lacks these lower frequencies like we like, between 35 and 45 hertz. So if the song you like doesn't fundamentally have those lower frequencies in it, the bass processor will look at the upper range frequencies to detect musical harmonics, and the processor will drop an octave to reproduce lower bass frequencies. So if you listen to music where songs lack bass, then this is a very useful and powerful piece of equipment. Okay, so better said, it does one thing but serves two applications. One, it restores bass that is mixed out, and two, it produces bass in songs where the lower frequencies are not there. Music genres in which this works well with are 70s and 80s funk music, rock, and other older music that either didn't have a lot of bass when it was recorded or mixed down during production. But more recently, we sell these devices to our clients that listen to Spanish music like banda and corridos. So these devices will enhance bass in songs that are lacking it and give it a completely new dynamic, changing the way the song sounds. And for those of us that add subs to our car audio systems, when you first get your subwoofer and you're playing music with lots of bass, you'll want to get the most out of your sub or subs. But what if you run into one of your favorite songs that don't have a lot of bass, no matter how high you turn up your subwoofer level? That's when a bass restoration processor can help. Now, I have to warn you, if you have one of these bass restoration processors and listen to music that already has a lot of bass in it, like hip hop, pop, or modern country, then you won't need the assistance of this device and could potentially blow a woofer if you turn up the output knob too high. And we highly recommend that when playing this type of music, just turn the knob all the way down. But even if you predominantly listen to music that already has lots of bass, it's nice to have the ability and flexibility in your system to enhance songs outside of what you normally listen to. And there will be occasions when you run across a song that needs assistance of this device, and that's why I personally have one of these in my vehicle. And even though I may use it 10 to 15% of the time, when I do use it, I'm glad I installed it. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 3 bass restoration enhancers. Then we'll be going outside to take a listen to what one of these do in a system by testing a few songs and seeing what it does on an RTA. So let's get started. Okay, the originator of this category is the AudioControl Epicenter. This unit came out decades ago and has been copied, duplicated, and modeled after by many companies trying to reproduce this unit. Simple in design, but very effective. Okay, so let's go over the features in detail. So this unit goes in between the source unit and the amplifier through the RCAs and has two para-bass controls, the wide and the sweep. The sweep is adjustable between 27 and 63 Hertz, and the wide controls the bandwidth around the sweep's frequencies. Now you also get a remote level control. And if you unscrew the top, there are some jumpers for the following features: balanced or unbalanced input, ground isolation jumpers just in case you run into electrical noise, and bass output, selectable between 2.5 and 10 volts. There's also a chip in here that you can change the frequency for the subsonic filter. Current retail price is $199. Next, we have the Wavtech BassRestor. Now, this unit came out in January of 2019. This unit restores bass in the same manner as an Epicenter, but with a few added features. So you have the effect here, which is similar to the output on the back of the Epicenter, the width, which is the same as the wide, the frequency, which is the same as the sweep, and on the Wavtech, you have a selectable subsonic filter between 15 and 50 Hertz, whereas in the Epicenter, that chip is set at 33 Hertz, a PFM that allows for different cutoff frequencies. Now, this unit has high level inputs, useful if you're using a factory head unit, and there are ground loop isolators on the side of the unit, and the internal adjustments include the input sensitivity range, balanced and unbalanced input, and also the auto on or off. Now, this is a line driver in addition to the high level input that will take frequencies as low as 100 Hertz. And this unit comes with a dual remote level control. So the main knob is the attenuation level, variable from 0 to -3 dB, and the outer knob adjusts the amount of bass restoration effect. And the Wavtech BassRestor comes in at $199. Now, the last one we're going to be looking at is the Epicenter Micro, which was recently released. So this unit is obviously smaller than the original Epicenter unit, and they put a lot of the internal adjustments on the outside, making it easier to adjust. Now, this unit adds a few features that the Wavtech unit has, like high level inputs and a dual knob level control. But let's go over the features and the controls one by one, starting with the load selection. This is used if you're tying into a factory subwoofer. So if you take off the factory subload, sometimes the amp will stop producing audio output, in which case you'll want to select this feature, thus putting the load back onto the factory amp, allowing it to function properly. Trigger mode, either traditional remote amp turn on, signal sense, or what AudioControl calls GTO, which will sense when the factory amp stage is activated. Ground isolation. Now, this is to eliminate electrical noise. PMF, which is the subsonic filter, and the voltage output, which can be selected from 5, 7.5, and 10 volts. Current retail price, $249. So let's take a listen and look at what a bass processor actually does in a vehicle. This truck has the original Epicenter installed, and we'll take a look at the RTA, and I'll explain exactly what it does. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and listen to a couple songs here. I'm going to start with Zapp and Roger, more bounce to the ounce. I have the Epicenter installed, of course, and the knob is off to the right here. So I'm going to start with it all the way down, and then you're going to notice as I'm playing this music with the Epicenter down, you're going to have frequencies right around 60 or so that are going to kind of boost there, maybe a little bit lower at 55. Okay, so let's observe that first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the Epicenter knob here. So what you're going to notice is that's going to add in a bunch of those lower frequencies. It does what it's supposed to do. It takes those frequencies that are a little bit higher and drops them lower so you get that deeper bass. Okay, so now I'm going to play some Spanish music. This is corridos music, and this is made by Leo Hernandez. And what you're going to notice is you're not going to have much of any bass frequencies out around this area. Okay, so let's observe that first. Okay, so it's pretty flat, but we are getting some boost here around 60 or so. So let's go ahead and kick up the Epicenter and see what it does.
ti me encanta el alcohol y me vuelvo a levantar solo en tu plano el hablar.
Okay, so as you can see, it kicks in a lot of bass, especially for the songs that don't have bass. So not only does it restore bass, it will actually produce bass in frequencies that the music doesn't naturally have. Now, each one of these bass restoration processors perform great and are excellent quality. Regardless of which one you choose, we're sure you'll be happy with it. So let's answer the question. Is a bass restoration processor worth it? Well, if you listen to music that lacks lower bass, then absolutely yes. Even if you don't, it's nice to have the flexibility available at your fingertips. Okay, that's our opinion. Let's hear yours. Leave your answer in the comment section below and let us know what you think. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up. For more information on these units or to purchase, there are links in the description below, taking you directly to each product page. Now remember, we do have financing available. Simply add to cart, pick a financing option, get approved, and we'll send your gear out to you ASAP. My name is Josh, I'm with Breaker Stereo and Performance. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.